Jennifer, could you tell us what kind of wines you have made over the years?
Caju wine, zamlam wine, then pineapple wine.
And you have the recipes for more also?
And grapes, black grapes and green grapes also.
So how did you get started, and what was the reason for,
No, we had lots of cajus, I'd gone to Anjuna, my mother's place, so just talking of cajus. Then I spoke to one friend, she said, you can make caju wine. So then I brought the cajus from my mother's house and she gave me the recipe.
This was in which year?
Now it's about 15 years back.
I see.
15 years back.
And what have your experiences been? It's always successful, or sometimes it goes?
Once or twice it was a failure, but otherwise it's quite successful, because I keep everything clean and all. That's most important. It means fruit.
Cleanliness is very important.
Cleanliness is most important.
And what are the recipes basically? How do you?
The basic recipe I take is 3 kg whatever fruit I'm taking.
Yeah.
Then 3 kg sugar.
Right.
6 bottles water. And sugar. Wheat. 1 kg wheat.
Okay.
250 gram wheat, no?
No, 1 kg wheat I use.
And sugar a little less, you're saying sometimes.
No, but I keep it that way. It means I'm giving you just the basic recipe. Then according to taste, you can make it less sugar or something like that. But this is the basic recipe. And yeast, 1 ounce yeast.
Yeah.
The exact recipe you want, or just?
No, more or less.
Now the bring the
yeast from Innocentia.
Innocentia Fernandez. You get that. You have to ask for
wine
yeast. Bring the first you about say 3 kg. I start with 3 kg. Okay, 3 kg fruit, grapes, or anything. Wash them and keep them to drain. And say I boil water, 6 bottles, and cool it. Containers, wash them well, and put the crushed grapes in the container. Then put the water, sugar, and yeast. You have to put it with put a little sugar, warm water, and dissolve the granules like so, and keep it for about 10-15 minutes till it bubbles. Then mix it up, and your hands be clean, washed well. Then you dry your hand well, mix it up. And every day at a certain time, wash your hand well with soap and all, dry it, and stir it for 7 days.
Right.
Then after 7 days, cover it up. But every time keep it covered, but after you just tie it up after 7 days. And don't touch it for 21 days.
Right.
After 21, strain it. And don't press the fruit or anything, just let it settle down. And keep it in any container, closed container. Completely full. Because I find it little light, then there is fungus forms.
I see.
And keep it for then you keep for 3 months or something.
Okay. So there are a lot of other people also experimenting with winemaking in the village?
Yeah, different, each one has a different recipe. Some people they put preservatives. Then some, what they do, they take the fruit and they ferment it without the yeast first with KMS. And then they strain it and then they put the yeast.
KMS, potassium metabolsulfide, you don't use it in your recipe?
I don't use it, but I've read other recipes that they say you have to put that. But I have not tried it.
So even without KMS, it doesn't...
Because this one, they say they put the fruit, put the water, and they put the KMS and they let it ferment. Then they strain it. And then they put the yeast.
You feel KMS changes the taste?
Taste, because I made jams and everything. I don't like that
you don't like it.
If you're not putting the yeast immediately, if you're not putting the yeast immediately, then you require KMS.
Yeah.
Otherwise the fruit will get, other bacteria will grow.
Yeah.
Whereas you're putting the yeast immediately, the yeast will suppress other bacteria.
So Dr. Ozzy, you're ophthalmologist who's also interested in plants and winemaking. How did you get interested in wines?
I think my father used to make wine out of raisins.
Raisins?
Raisins. That time raisins were cheap. So
in Hyderabad?
Yeah. So then that's how I also...
And he also gave me a recipe book he had. I haven't used it. So he also said, why don't you make wine with this?
I see. I see. Father-in-law. Yeah. Interesting. So what are your experiments in future? What are you planning to do?
Nothing. Just for the home.
Just for the house. Because you do require all those containers and all those things.
Last time you feel nice when you're doing something.
But in terms of spreading the skills or spreading awareness, because I'm amazed that there are so many people doing it, but each one doesn't know what the other is doing. When they link up, then both sides are learning. No? So
So we could have a competition in the club or somewhere. The competition means you could have like
now if you go to buy a wine bottle, now this port wine, they don't have much taste.
It's all
acidic and all like that. And the children want to have on Sunday.
It's all synthetic. It's probably some chemical.
Now my mother-in-law has wine, it's Portuguese wine, 650 a bottle. So my son, eldest son, he took He took the wine, and he tasted. He had her wine. He said, "Here," and she only keeps it for herself because she has every.
It's considered to be medicinal also
like,
for circulation.
No, appetite.
Appetite.
Yeah.
Not circulation.
She says she gets appetite.
All
But she
depends
doesn't
what
eat
you
much.
think about it.
So he had that wine, and he said it was. I gave him very little. So he says, "Yeah, I want some more." So I gave him mine. So he says, "Your wine is tastier than this wine."
It's better.
Because
That's
it's a
true.
complete fruit. So they are not using. I don't know. They are, but if you go buy in the market, they won't use that much fruit. All that
That's
fruit.
It's probably true. You have something, a gold mine which you are sitting on, which you not really realize.
And
Thanks.
cashews are in plenty in Goa. Everybody has cashews in his garden.
What are the other fruits in Goa
Jamla.
which are suited?
Jamla.
Jamlam's very good color. You just like the bottle wine.
I see.
This cashew wine will be white. You have to burn sugar into that. But this wine, real
Jamla.
color it gives you, and the black one, the purple grapes, that comes the best. They say purple grapes, but it's so expensive.
Yeah.
So you take the green grapes.
Is it easy to get started on winemaking? Or?
Very easy. Only cleanliness is the most important thing, and everything is okay.
And yeast is important also.
Yeast, and when you walk,
And if you
stirring
get
and all.
If you get the imported wine yeast, it will be even better because those strains give you a higher percentage of alcohol.
I see.
They can withstand alcohol. They don't die till the alcohol percentage goes up.
I see.
Because yeast, slight percentage of alcohol, it kills. Granular yeast goes a little higher.
Yeah.
And the imported yeast will be still higher. And the taste also will depend on the yeast. Because yeast will get a mushy odor. And your wine yeast will get a real good taste, aroma.
Thanks so much for sharing all your knowledge with us.